go black and white for this video. I just want to keep the tone pretty flat. Welcome to the channel, guys. I just wanted to do this quick video. It's probably not going to be too quick, but I just wanted to throw this out there for anybody that might need this, and because I feel like I kind of needed this. So, sorry, this isn't necessarily cannabis related, but I went to the Jay-Z concert last night in Denver, and sorry if there's spoilers, anybody's going to this show, but he ends the show with the Numb Encore mashup that he did with Linkin Park. And before that, he says, I want to dedicate this next song to my buddy Chester, and he did the song, and he let Chester's verse ride out at the end, and every single person in that fucking stadium had a lighter or their phone up, and all the lights in the stadium were off, and that bitch was lit up. And everybody sung Chester's shit word for fucking word with tears in their eyes. I left that show last night bawling. And I wanted to make this video because I got a homie back home named Eddie Black that just passed away to an apparent suicide a few months back. And everybody loved Eddie. Like, everybody loved Eddie. He was cool everywhere he went. You know, he had neighborhood fame like I could only wish for. You know, like, everybody fucking loved Eddie. He was so cool. And just like Chester, who was a millionaire and had millions of fans, and everybody loved this man, there's a lot of people that are going through shit every day that we don't even know about. And when I think back about my homie Eddie, like, he had sent me a song he wanted me to do a verse on for him. If you guys know, I do hip hop and shit. Like 2 months before he fucking died. And I just never got around to it. I felt like I had all the time in the world, and I was busy. And that shit eats me up to this day, but that's nowhere near what this video is about. I just watched an interview that Chester did right before he died. And the man was hurt. He talked about how, he said, you know, in his head, he made the metaphor that his head is like a really bad neighborhood that he shouldn't be in by himself, and he needs people. And he said when he's a father and he's a bandmate and he's a friend and a son and all of these things, he's fine and he can get through life. And I can relate to that. But he said when he's inside this bad neighborhood in his head, he needs help, and it's dangerous. And I wanted to make this video because I've been there, and I'm still there, and it's been over 10 years. My parents divorced when I was 13 years old. I'm 28 now. I'll be 29 next month. And I've been very depressed for a long time. I've had suicidal thoughts for a long time. I felt that way. I've been inside my head, and I can relate to Chester saying that, you know, this is a bad neighborhood, and this isn't where I want to be when I'm out with my friends, when I'm at a Jay-Z concert, when, you know, I'm being a father to my fucking dog, and I'm taking her out and I'm feeding her, and, you know, I'm at home with my mom, and I go out and have dinner with her, or I help her around the house. When I'm doing those things, I'm good, and I might smile and laugh and have a great time when I'm making YouTube videos for you guys. You'd probably never know the shit that goes on in my head. And I had no idea the shit that went on in Eddie's head. And I don't think any of us really knew how Chester was feeling. We may have heard it through the music, but a lot of us just take that with a grain of salt, like it's music. And like, I really don't know what the fuck to say. Like, we take a lot of this shit for granted. Like, we understand, yeah, they're feeling this or whatever, but, you know, we look at somebody like Chester and we feel like he has everything. You know, how could he not be happy? He has a beautiful wife, he has children, he has one of the best bands fucking ever. You know, he has fame, he has all these people that love him, but yet he felt like sometimes he had nobody to talk to. And I was just talking about it with my girlfriend on the way to drop her off at work. Like, I would have sat down on the curb with Chester at 3 o'clock in the morning and held him while he fucking cried and talked to him and told him, like, bro, it's cool, man. Like, you got people, like, we love you. And the same thing with my homie Eddie. If I would have had any fucking clue as to where he was mentally, I would have sent him a verse back immediately. I'd have took a day off work and sent him several songs and be like, bro, let's do a whole mixtape. Let's do a double album mixtape. Like, I would have done everything I could to keep him out of that bad neighborhood. And now that I've heard Chester say that, I'm always gonna use that. It's because it makes so much sense. I wanted to make this video like 1% for myself, but 99% for anybody else that I could potentially help, or for you if you're watching. If you are depressed, if you've been dealing with depression, if you've had suicidal thoughts, I believe it's natural to a few times in your life think like, God, I don't want to be here. I just wish this shit would end. But if these are recurring thoughts, please, please, like I'm begging you to get fucking help. It doesn't necessarily have to be, psychiatric help, or you don't have to fucking pay, but reach out and talk to somebody. And if you feel like you reach out to somebody and they're not listening, don't be discouraged. Reach out to somebody else. If you have to reach out to a fucking stranger, if you have to call a suicide hotline, do something, please, because my girlfriend also just lost one of her friends she grew up with. And I'm not going to get too in detail of that, but I just want to say that when things like that happen, people take fault in their mind and in their heart. They feel like they could have done something to stop it. So please be there for people. Like, if you need help, search it out for yourself. If you see somebody that you think that needs help, be there for them. Take a little extra time out of your day. I remember growing up before I even knew things like this, before I even knew about depression and suicide and things, like I would see the kids in school that didn't really have friends. And I was never super popular, but I was somewhat popular. I was with the cool kids. And I would see the kids that weren't the cool kids and that weren't popular and they didn't have all these friends and sat by themselves. And I would speak to them when they came to class in the morning. Like, hey, what's up, Rick? How are you today, bro? You doing okay? And you would see these kids' face light up, because at first they'd look at you like, oh my God, is he talking to me? Oh, is he gonna bully me? Is he gonna say something mean? How am I? I'm having a good day. How are you? And what you don't realize is even just smiling at that person, or telling them good morning, or hey, how are you? Or even just acknowledging that person could maybe give them 6 more months, or at least get them through that day. So I'm not telling you guys to walk around and try to look for depressed people and feel like you need to be a superhero and try to save these people. But what I am trying to tell you guys is that if you can, be there for people. If one of your friends is depressed and you feel like, oh, well, Brandon's always depressed and he's always calling me upset and telling me he doesn't want to do this anymore and fuck life and everything. And it just, oh, that's their personality. That's not a personality trait. That is somebody who is begging for help, that really feels that way, that doesn't want to do it for whatever reason, because they're scared, because they don't want to hurt their family, because they don't want to hurt their friends, because they're holding on to some type of hope that it may get better at another time. But don't ever dismiss it, please, because the one day you do, the one day your friend calls you, man, I can't take this shit, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, I'm busy, I gotta go to work. You might get off work that day and not be able to continue that conversation with that person. And woulda, coulda, shoulda is one of the worst fucking feelings ever, because as much as we want to, we cannot turn back time. We can't do it. You can essentially move it forward. You can sleep all fucking day and now it's tomorrow, but you can't go back. And all it takes is a matter of seconds. You could put a bullet in your brain and you're gone 2 seconds later, and that's it. There's nobody that can help you, that can save you. So, like I said, I know this video isn't necessarily cannabis related, but this is my channel. This is my platform to talk to you guys, and I do it for entertainment for the most part, but when there's some real shit, I'm going to take an intermission and we're going to talk about it. And I left that J show last night in fucking tears, man. Everybody had their fucking lights up and was singing their heart out for Chester, yo. And Hove said it. He said, I want y'all to sing so fucking loud that Chester can hear y'all in heaven. And it just made me think about Eddie, and it made me think about Chester and anybody that we've lost due to depression. And to feel like there's something we could have done. Like if you lose somebody to a car accident or something, you know, you can't go over it but so much. Like, okay, maybe if they left 5 minutes earlier or later, they wouldn't have been at that intersection or whatever. But when it comes to depression, this is something that builds for a long fucking time. You don't have somebody that's happy, that has a great life, and you know, one thing happens and they just kill themselves immediately. That, I'm 99% sure that's never the case. It's generally something that builds over time, and there's a lot of warning signs and red flags, and a lot of times they're disregarded, or, you know, we feel like, oh, well, they were feeling this way, but now they're better. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the videos of Chester a few days before his death in the car, like with his family singing and smiling and laughing. And it's such a genuine smile. And in that moment, he was happy and he wasn't depressed in that moment. But that doesn't mean that an hour later, 2 hours later, when he, you know, laid in bed that night, he wasn't in that fucking bad neighborhood, walking through that neighborhood by himself again with nobody else with him. So I just wanted to make this video to formally, you know, give my condolences to Chester's family and to anybody that loved him, and to hope that he rests in peace and his legacy lives on, because he was a phenomenal voice. He was a phenomenal artist. And watching some of his interviews, he was highly intellectual, and he really could have changed a lot of shit. And he did change a lot of shit. He helped a lot of people get through shit. What's up, Jacob? But, and also for my boy Eddie, you know, and anybody that's watching this and knew Eddie, rest in peace to my fucking boy Eddie. And just, let's try to keep our eyes open, and let's try to be there for people and be other people's shoulders, because the shit is real. Mental health is some real shit. And what people don't realize is we always live inside our heads. You know what I'm saying? And unless you live with somebody every second of every day, you don't know the demons that they're fighting. You don't know what's going on in their head. And Chester said in the interview, he's not nice to himself in his head. He says terrible things. He's destructive to himself. And I know a lot of people like that, and I can be like that to myself sometimes. So I'm urging you, and me myself, I'm possibly going to look into some type of help. I don't think I'm suicidal necessarily, but I do have depression that is rather severe sometimes. And I feel like this world is hopeless, and there's a lot of evil people, and sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to be part of this world. Not in a way like I'm going to kill myself, but more so in a way like doom and gloom. And it's very easy when you're in one mind state to see things in that way. Like, for example, when you're head over heels in love with somebody, if they start doing wrong things and there's red flags, you might overlook them, and you're just, you know, they might start treating you bad or doing this and that, and you still are holding on to this image of who you want them to be or who you thought they were, and you're positive. Well, the same thing goes with negativity. You get to thinking about one or two negative things, it just spirals, and it just keeps going and going and going, and it's not a good place to be. So almost 15 minutes in, I'm going to end this video, but just, you know, one last time, I want to please urge you, if you are suffering depression, if you feel like you're suicidal, please get some kind of help. I don't give a fuck if you need to comment. If you don't feel safe commenting to me, write me an email, please. It's vegantoker, vegantoker@gmail.com. vegantoker@gmail.com. I will get back to you as soon as I can, as soon as I see the email, and I will talk to you like we're best friends, because I don't want anybody else, and I know it's unrealistic, but I want to do everything I can to ensure that we don't lose more people to themselves. There's already too much shit, cancers, diseases, war, famine. There's too much shit going on that we can lose people to lose people to such a trivial fucking reason. And when I say trivial, I don't mean to illegitimize suffering and depression whatsoever. I mean, I feel like it's one of the things that we can fix faster than most of these other problems. I don't think we're going to stop having wars tomorrow, but I do think that today we can talk to people and we can be there for people so they're still here tomorrow. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll be back to the normal content soon, and just one more RIP to anybody that's been lost due to depression, and to Chester and Eddie Black. I love y'all. I love everybody that watches this channel. Please love yourself. Look in the mirror every morning. Tell yourself you love yourself. Smile at people. Tell them you love them. and just don't be scared to show love and to spread love, because the love will always outweigh the hate. I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Peace.